I think that the Midlands, it's got a very proud tradition. We were the engine that ran this country. We made the engines that ran this country, both in cars and, sort of long history of building canals, all of this kinds of things. Coventry having the status of Coventry City of Culture, I think will show to the rest of the people in the country, and maybe internationally as well, that the Midlands is a definite place which has a particular perspective on this country. And it's got nothing to do with the North, and it hasn't got anything to do with the South. It is essentially us. And I'll champion that until, I pop my clogs.
And you grew up in a suburb of Coventry called Stychel, I think. Can you remember anything of Stychel? I know you left at the age of 4, so pretty young. Have you got any memories of Coventry?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, they are typical childhood memories, a bit incoherent, a bit sort of episodic. But yeah, I remember certain things very well. I remember the house that we lived in. I remember my dad going to work on his bicycle. Coventry was a tremendous bike town. And I remember, for instance, at the end of a shift in the factories, you would have literally thousands of men coming out on bicycles. It was like a tsunami of bicycles.
One of my earliest memories, when I must have been 4 in 1940, my mother and I were in the Anderson shelter in next door's garden, and the neighbour came in and said, "They've destroyed the cathedral." And sorry, it still gets me. It is extraordinary. And I remember that. I remember the word, them saying that. And the smell of the night air and the horror that people had for that. And of course, we knew there were many killed as well. I'm not religious, but I think the endeavors of people and the spiritual life that people have and that has gone on down the centuries and the history that the buildings contain is very moving and is very important and is central to who we are. I mean, the craftsmen, not only who built this, but who built the old cathedral, the effort, the organization, the men who died building it probably, it's redolent with who we are.
I think two-tone saved Coventry. I think two-tone saved the Midlands. I think that gave a voice to many, many people. And I think because there were Caucasian leads, but they're alongside Jamaicans and Afro-Caribbeans, the optics of it must have changed something. If you've got Madness and Busted Blood Vessel and the Selector and the Beat, but the music voiced the anger in a way that Adam and the Ants didn't. Culture Club didn't quite. Duran Duran didn't quite express the anger that Two Tone did. And that was at the peak of that recession. You had the most creative time. And I think that's where I was lucky. As an artist and as an actor, we found a voice to express it. Then, of course, that was followed by the whole hip-hop movement. I found my voice through the hip-hop movement. Now, why that changed things culturally was all the kids that were hanging around in the street, and I was one of them, suddenly were no longer fighting, they were dancing.
My mum was absolutely in despair, and she just said, now we've had more calls about you not turning up, what are you going to do with your life? Like, the only thing you've ever wanted to do was be on the stage. So I found a place, I'm taking you to an audition next Saturday. And I said, what do you mean? She said, it's a drama school. And I was like, what's a drama school? So I started researching drama schools, and I found the Juilliard in New York. And I was like, I'm going to New York. I'm going to New York. I'm going to be an actor. And she said, you're going to Coventry. And I said, oh, I hadn't even heard of Coventry. She said, it's not far. It's only 30 minutes on the train. So that's where you're going if you're lucky enough to get in. So she took me, and yeah.
The rest is history, as they say.
One of the most magical moments I've experienced in the Midlands was watching Noel Gallagher soundcheck in the Ricoh Arena playing Half the World Away, which is one of my favourite Oasis songs. We were supporting on the tour. It was the final tour that Oasis did. And I remember standing in that arena wondering whether Coventry would even have been on their radar for that tour. if we weren't the support, and wondering whether in some small way we had something to do with Noel being stood in that arena in the middle of Coventry singing that beautiful song. Whether we had anything to do with it or not, it remains one of my fondest memories of the Midlands. I was immensely proud of Coventry that day, because without the people of Cov, the enemy wouldn't have happened. You know, the support that we got from Coventry as a city enabled us to be on that Oasis tour, which in turn possibly meant that Oasis came to Coventry. It was just a beautiful day.
I lived on the doorstep of Mansfield. I would love to have played for Mansfield Town because they were the team that I used to watch every Saturday. They had a really good side at the time, so I would love to have played for them. But they always felt I was too tall, too gangly, and couldn't get down to the low ones. And, it's amazing because, in this day and age, you're looking for goalkeepers who are as big as you possibly can. Not then. If you were 5'11", 6 foot, you had a chance of playing in goal. If you were 6'4", as I was as a teenager, too big.
The most important thing I am is a Brummie, without question. I don't feel a massive patriot about my country unless there's a party about the Queen or the football, which I don't follow unless we're doing well. I don't feel that sense of being really proud necessarily to be British. I am incredibly proud to be from Birmingham.
For me, it's where I am. It's who I am in a sense. I've got so many amazing memories there, and my family are all based there. In Aldridge, Walsall, my first big competition in the 2006 school games where I represented Midlands with my yellow swimming hat. So yeah, it's huge, and it's a huge part of my life. And now being part of the Birmingham Commonwealth Games is always going to have a place in my heart.